good morning, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, YouTube. So we actually ended up shooting an impromptu vlog this today. This is a car-based one, purely because a friend of mine who is a very experienced engineer and mechanic, he's got a Skoda Ocatvia, which has got getting towards 200,000 miles on it. They changed the brake pads this morning, and he ran into some difficulty. He gave me a call, asking me to bring around a particular tool, because couldn't get the brake caliper piston back far enough. And we actually eventually managed to get it far enough to get the brakes assembled, but it was all binding up, and the second you hit the brakes just locked on. The 600-metre test drive got the brakes so hot they actually started to smoke and discolour. So coming up, this is what was causing the problem, and this is how we got around it. Do hit the like and subscribe button. These videos are going to be a mixture now on the channel between workshop and riding, 2 and 4 wheels. There's going to be all sorts coming up. If you like your vehicles, there's going to be something for you on this channel. So please do hit the subscribe button. This is coming up is what the problem was with the Skoda, how we got around it, and it didn't actually cost us anything to resolve. Had we taken this car to a garage, the bill at the very least would have been 2 new calipers, 2 new hoses and a good couple of hours labour. Would have been between a £400 and £500 bill. We resolved it ourselves on the driveway for absolutely nothing. So on this Skoda Ocatvia, we've just changed the brake pads, and upon taking it out on the test drive, we found that the brakes stuck really badly. You can see here the bluing on the disc from the temperature. And what it's turned out to be, where the pads are lived and the calipers lived with warm pads, this edge of the piston, which isn't part that the seal acts on, but this edge of the piston has built up so much corrosion that when it's been pressed back into the caliper, it started to enter the caliper body and absolutely bound up the caliper something rotten. So what we've got to do now is just go around, just cleaning this edge off the piston like this, just making sure, just feeling for no high spots. You're not going to affect the sealing because the seal doesn't affect this far out, it doesn't act on this portion. Just make sure that's smooth. And then we're going to grab hold of our mole grips here. These have been adjusted now to, oops, move the light out of the way. These have been, sorry, that's okay. These have been adjusted to fit on this outer edge, and bear in mind this is not the edge that bears on the pad. That's it, there we go. And we're just going to rotate this piston round to reveal the next section. We're almost there actually, it's clean almost all the way around now. And this should enable the piston now to slide fully back in. Got a bit of light back in there, there we go. This is very typical of the problem you're going to find working with older cars. The car was working absolutely fine before we took it apart, it just needed new pads and discs. But of course, like I say, this is one of the things, this has been exposed to the elements. Maybe this old boot isn't sealing quite as well as it used to. It's been exposed to the elements for quite some time. It's allowed this outer uncovered section to completely expose itself and to corrode. So let's just give it a final polish off with a bit of wet and dry paper. It feels like it's very much there now. And you're just looking for a bit of discoloration and pitting is fine, but you're just looking for no real high spots.
You should really change the caliper.
Yeah, this caliper this is a get you home, get you out of trouble manoeuvre. This is the point. This caliper really needs to be replaced now, but this might be adequate for getting the car serviceable again. Again, this car has getting towards 200,000 miles on the clock, so it's seen better days. But it still serves its purpose, so it's not quite ready for the scrapyard yet. And with a little bit of determination, we'll get another few months out of it yet. It's worth noting this sort of damage and corruption can come from the carts live near the coast, which this one has done most of its life. The salt air really does just damage everything. So it feels quite good. There's a little high spot there. You can see this one here. Let's take this off. You don't need to worry about making it out of shape because it's just not a section that's exposed to the fluid. So I think we're about there. So let's try and press this back in.
Put the seal back on first.
Yeah, sorry. So does that just pull forward, does it? So this goes into this groove. This is the seal. This is just a dust boot, but obviously moisture can find its way underneath this.
Do you want
It's
to crack some WD-40 into it as well?
Yeah, let's give it a little jus.
Not actually meant underneath.
It will go underneath when it pulls out. Get the straw under there. There we go. That should do us.
I think it came out, mate.
There we go.
Have to wind caliper around to get to the other side.
Yep.
Oh no, you won't. It won't help.
No.
No, it won't help, will it?
Why not?
Because the boat doesn't turn with the caliper.
Ah, of course not. There we go, let's get in there. I think that's about there. Let's see how far and easily that pushes back in now. We'll get an idea if it's in the right place as it pushes.
Should be replacing the caliper at this point.
Yeah, this caliper is not for long for this world. Though I suspect this is going to go in a lot easier this time than it was previously. There's a lot less resistance there. That's going in treat so far. It did at this point, yeah. It would bind up not much past this.
Oh no, it's definitely binding up by this point.
This is going in like a charm. So I think we have got it, because that's gone all the way in. That's about there, isn't it? It's about fully home.
Okay. Well,
that's going in by hand.
Do you want to hold on to this then?
Yep.
I'll get pumped.
Let's get our glamorous assistant here to put the rest of this together, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so everything's back together. Let's get the wheel on and go and take it for a test drive. Well, it moves, that's the start. More than it did before.
That's the fan.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the brakes. Oh! And it doesn't feel like the handbrake's stuck on when you when you put your foot on the clutch.
It feels
rolling.
more normal. Hey, it has brakes.
To roll after I brake. And
well, that would appear at first glance to have been a successful job, because it feels normal again. You didn't actually torque that wheel off though, did you?
Yeah.
Did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Never noticed that.
Oh no, sure.
Always torque
do it
wheels.
properly.
Yeah. See, previously by this stage we'd accrued fire, smoke and damnation, which appears not to have been the case so far. And you can actually tell the difference between being on and off the brakes, which we couldn't before as well. They were just on all the time. So there you go. It's just that corrosion sitting around the edge of the caliper. We were trying to wind the caliper piston back in, and it was just binding everything up. So that's all it was. Job's good.